Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to be having a look at a puzzle that has attracted quite some recommendations by Scruffamudda. And I haven't done a Scruffamudda puzzle in what feels like years. This is called Whispers in the Shadows, and apparently it's wonderful with some very original logic. And the title, the only problem I've got with this is that the title is evocative, to me at least, of StarCraft 2's Protoss race. And anybody who's been following the channel for a while or has been following the game StarCraft 2 will know that Protoss ought to be deleted from the game. It is completely overpowered and utterly ridiculous. And Whispers in the Shadows, I think, is one of the campaign missions, I feel like. But anyway, we're going to move swiftly on. We're not going to think about Protoss and how unfair it is. Instead, we're going to try and solve the Sudoku. It's some sort of yin-yang variant, this one. But don't worry if you don't know what that is. I will explain all when we read the rules together in a moment or two's time. But other things to mention before we get in and do some solving. There are a few things. Firstly, I would really love to recommend yesterday's puzzle to you. This is from the Rat Run series by Marty Sears, and in my opinion, this is one of the cleverest things I've ever seen in my life. It is so utterly brilliant. I mean, all the puzzles in the Rat Run series are good. They're all excellent, frankly. But this one was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. So do check that out. Now, we are going to be streaming Blueprints next Monday evening at 10 p.m. UK time. We are at least intending to. I will schedule that stream in a moment, not in a moment or two's time, but after I've recorded this video, assuming I managed to solve the puzzle. But we had some really rather delightful news yesterday related to Thinky Games and the third Thinky Annual Awards. You can see there, we were actually nominated in the category of Best Content Creators, if you can believe it. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. I don't know if it'll... Oh, you can't see. But the fact is that we won. Now, the only reason that we won is because you guys voted for us to win. It was a public vote. So thank you so much for taking the trouble to go over there and support the channel. It is... I mean, it's ridiculous. People like Aliens Rock and were nominated there. So for us to win is just, well, yeah. As I think I put the hashtag #2DelightedNerds in the tweet that we did yesterday, yeah, we were absolutely thrilled. Now, but the other thing is that Thinky Games also had their Game of the Year, and they did it in two ways. They firstly had a public vote for what the world thought Game of the Year should be in sort of Thinky Games environment, which is like obviously think games related to strategy and puzzling and things like that. And Blueprints won. And also Blueprints also won their sort of internal vote as well. So the Thinky Games Puzzle of the Year was also Blueprints. So Blueprints did the double. Hugely deserved. I mean, what a game that is. Mark and I have now been playing it for well over half a year. And still, still some people tell us we've only done like half the game or something. It's been fantastic. And, so much credit to Doggy Bomb, who I think are the games company behind it. And anyway, just wanted to share that news with you. We're stoked. We're delighted that Blueprints is getting this recognition, and we will be back there on Monday night in the mansion. What else? Oh, well, over on Patreon, I do like reminding you that we've got our new monthly competition for February running. Let's have a look. This was the state of play as of yesterday. I hope you can see that. Can you see that on the screen? Yeah, that's all. That's perfect, isn't it? We can see that. And we'd had 1,200 solves of the first puzzle and 47 solves of all the puzzles. So how do I just reload or something? 47 it was. 59, 13, 28. Now well over 1,000 solves of Bremster's puzzle, which is the second puzzle. I mean, you can see the names of the people who've contributed to this pack. It's just, it's some of the great and the good of the Sudoku community. You'll love it if you get involved. do check it out. If you do get stuck, remember, over on the Discord server, there is a special Patreon-only channel where you'll find lots of friendly folk who sometimes share hints and tips about some of the puzzles. So don't find yourself getting frustrated. You can find help if you look for it. And that's over on Patreon right now. And I've got one birthday to do today. Let me look at my list of birthdays. Rachel down there in Australia. I'm not sure where in Australia you are, but it's a country I love very much. I don't get to go there very often, but whenever I've been blown away. And Rachel, you've turned 30 today. I know this because your partner Dom wrote to me saying many wonderful things about you. And I think you are having chocolate cake today, and it's going to be very heavily iced, which I'm delighted to hear. And I heard that the two of you both watched the channel, and Rachel, I think you was the sort of one who introduced Dom to this wonderful world of variant Sudoku. So Rachel, thank you for doing that. Thank you both for watching. I think you might also watch to fall asleep, which is fine. I always feel a little part of me dies when I hear that people love listening to my voice because it's so soporific and boring. But anyway, Rachel, many happy returns. That's all the news. That is all the news. That is all the birthdays. Let's have a look at Whispers in the Shadows by Scruffamudda. The rules of this one are as follows. We have got normal Sudoku rules applies. We've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Yin Yang. Shade some cells such that all shaded cells are orthogonally connected, all unshaded cells are orthogonally connected, and no 2x2 square is completely shaded or unshaded. So let's just quickly sketch what that means. So this is a potential shading. We could have those versus those. Now, why is this legitimate? Well, you can see that if you look at the green area, you can get entirely through the green area by moving in cardinal directions through green cells, i.e. moving to other green cells that share an edge. So if we were to bring this green cell in, that's too naughty for words. That's now not, the green area is not orthogonally connected anymore because this cell only touches other green cells at a vertex. Doesn't share an edge, and therefore it's not orthogonally connected. So all the greens are orthogonally connected, all the purples are orthogonally connected, and if you hunt in this grid you will find no 2x2 area, not even that one for example, where the 2x2 is entirely one colour, and therefore it meets the criteria. So this is a possible yin-yang shading. Now it then says every dot must touch a shaded cell. So there's loads of dots in the grid, and every dot must touch a shaded cell. Yeah. So either both cells that the dot touches will be shaded, or one of them will be shaded, but not neither. At least one must be shaded on a dot. Now with German Whispers, adjacent digits within the shaded region must differ by at least 5. So actually, can we go back to my example then? So we'd have to decide which of these was the shaded region and which of these was the unshaded region. But imagine that purple was the shaded region, and imagine this digit was a 1. Then this digit would have to be at least 6 to be sufficiently different from 1. So that could be 6, 7, 8, or 9, and it would meet the criteria. And then if this was 9, this would have to be 1, 2, 3, or 4 to meet the criteria. Okay, let's get rid of this. I think there's one more rule only. Kropki pairs. Oh, this is normal. So digits joined by a black dot are in a 2-to-1 ratio, which means one digit will be double the other. So imagine this cell here was a 2. This is either going to be 4 because 4 is double 2, or it's going to be 1 because 2 is double 1. So just make sure that digits on black dots, one is double the other. and then digits joined by a white dot are consecutive. So if this was a 2, this digit would be 1 or 3 to be consecutive with 2. And that is, let me just double check, that is all the rules. There is no more scrolling to be done. So do have a go at Whispers in the Shadows by Scruffamudda. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Well, let's start actually with some secrets about yin-yang. So some of you will know this already, but there are 2 secrets that it's important to know about yin-yang. And the first is that in this puzzle we will not have any instance, any 2x2 that has this shading, this checkerboard shading, Battenberging. It cannot exist because of the rules of yin-yang. Now, it's not immediately obvious if you haven't seen yin-yang before why this is impossible. So let me explain. Remember, all the purples have to be orthogonally connected in the end. So in some way or other, if we did have a Battenberg, you'd have to connect the purples together orthogonally. And now realise that the greens can't be connected orthogonally, because this green and this green, however, this green effectively is in a puddle of purple, isn't it? You can't get it out without crossing the purple wall, and you can't cross the purple wall. A cell cannot be simultaneously shaded and unshaded. So there is no way that you're going to have a checkerboard. Now that leads to some interesting properties for the perimeter. You can have one colour in the perimeter, that's totally fine. You can't have two, you can have 2 colours actually, sorry, you can have 2 colours. For instance, this would be possible. What you can't now have is a 3rd colour introduction, because if you change colour again, you've got basically an exploded checkerboard now. This green cell here has to be in some way connected orthogonally to this remaining green patch, and however that connection, it doesn't matter what route you take to achieve it, you will create what is in effect a wall of green that crosses the grid, and it will isolate one patch of purple from the other patch of purple, so you can't now connect the purples together. So the perimeter can be one colour, that is possible. We don't see that very often, but it's certainly possible in yin-yang. It can be 2 colours with 2 contiguous strings, but it can't be more than that. And they are my 2 secrets of yin-yang. So normally, when you are faced with a yin-yang puzzle, the perimeter is where to break in. So you can normally, and this is a truth about variant Sudoku, you can normally find the places where the break in the perimeter, or the 2 breaks in the perimeter occur. So I'm wondering if you have to have a break across a black dot. What was the rule? No, it didn't say that, did it? It said every... So it says every dot must touch a shaded cell. So there's at least one shaded there. Yeah, I see. So there is a break here, because you can't actually fulfill the German Whispers criteria. Imagine both of these were shaded. I'd probably just use grey for shaded. It's probably a bit more sensible than using purples and greens. Let's just use grey for shaded. Now, we know that one of these digits is double the other. And the question is, in achieving that doublification, are we also going to be able to ensure that one digit is at least 5 different from the other? And the answer is actually no, isn't it? Because the possible black dot pairs in Sudoku are 1 and 2. Whoa. Well, they're only 1 apart. 2 and 4, they're 2 apart. 3 and 6 are 3 apart. And 4 and 8 are 4 apart. So nothing there is 5 apart. You can't use 5 and 10 because 10 isn't a Sudoku digit or number. Right. Okay, so I'm dimly starting to see how this works then. So what we've got here is a break in the perimeter, because we're told one of these is shaded and the other can't possibly be shaded, or it won't fulfill the German Whispers criteria. So we know there's a break in the colouring there, and that's true of every black dot, but I've realised it's also true of every white dot. Although, no, hang on. Do you have to have... That's wrong, I think, what I've just said. Sorry, because... Oh, no, it is true. Yeah, because the criteria every dot must touch a shaded cell does apply to both types of dots. Right. So we have to talk a bit about whispers here, whispers logic. Imagine both of these were shaded. Is that ever going to be possible? And the answer, I think, is no. Because if these have to be consecutive, and obviously consecutive digits can't be 5 apart. So actually, we know that all dominoes in the grid are breaks in colour. And now all we've got to do is find a second. We know that's a break in the colour in the perimeter. So say this was a break in the colour in the perimeter. We would know that we could sort of run that round there, and we could run this round here. Because we can't have more than one effective change of colour or 2 points of change of colour in the perimeter. So do we know somehow that those are different from each other? Don't think so. Now what we need is a lovely black dot in the perimeter as well, don't we? Oh dear, hang on. I don't know what to do here. That's bizarre. What? Hang on. What am I missing? I know. You know, sometimes you read the rules and you think you've understood the rules, and you probably did when you read them. But in terms of forming a complete menu in your mind from which you can instantly, that I know this menu very well. Sometimes I feel like my menu, the way that I've put the puzzle rules in my brain, is incomplete. I've got yin yang. Every dot's got at least one, exactly one shaded. That's what we've deduced. German whispers. Yeah, okay, so it's something to do with 5, isn't it? Right. Okay, I've not talked about this at all, but perhaps this is what we should talk about. So let's talk about digits connected by, I'm going to describe it as a green line, but this German whispers constraint is often represented in Sudoku as a line. So let's imagine this line had to obey this German whispers constraint. So every adjacent pair has to differ in value by at least 5. The crucial secrets about whispers lines are you can't put 5 anywhere on the line. And that's because the adjacent digit is going to be at least 5 different from 5. And if you go downwards, you get to 0 and negative numbers. And if you go upwards, you get to 10 and higher numbers, and they aren't Sudokuable. So no 5s are ever going to be in the shaded portion of this grid. Now the fact there's no 5 means that every digit on this line either has the quality of being below 5 or above 5. And the crucial thing to realise is that, let's say this was below 5. This digit cannot also be below 5. It's impossible, because these 2 digits cannot be made to be 5 apart. 4 and 1 are only 3 apart. So what happens on whispers lines is you get a digit below 5 will be next to a digit above 5, will be next to a digit below 5 again. You get this oscillation. So that's a thing. But what I'm actually trying to work out in my brain is, I know one side of this dot is shaded. Let's just say it was the left-hand side. So let's say this was shaded and this was unshaded. Now, what I could tell you, if this was the arrangement, is that this cell here cannot be shaded. Because if it's shaded, we know that the shaded cells in the perimeter form one contiguous string, which would make the entire column shaded. And that's broken because there's a 5 in column 1 of Sudoku. Because of Sudoku, there's a 5 in column 1 somewhere, and that 5 cannot exist in the grey section of the puzzle because it couldn't have a neighbour. And if it couldn't have a neighbour, it would be a solitary grey cell. And I can tell you there is not only one grey cell in this puzzle, because the entirety of the rest of the grid would be green, and that will definitely break the 2x2 rule. But I don't know which way round this goes. I think what we could say... I feel like let me just think this through. So no individual it's hard to articulate this, but okay, one thing we could say is that no individual row or column in the perimeter can be completely shaded. Now that must mean I want to say that must mean that this bottom row is completely unshaded. Because there are going to have to be... Yeah, it's almost, it doesn't matter which way round these goes. It's possible to avoid this whole column being shaded. In fact, it's very difficult because you can't put 5 on this black dot either. I now sort of want to say that these two have to be unshaded. But it's more of an intuition than anything else. Yeah, I think that is right though, isn't it? I don't think it matters which way round this goes. It's really interesting, actually. So let's just have a look at it from this perspective. If it was this way round, is it possible for anything in these cells, any of those cells, to be shaded? No, it's not, is it? Because whichever one I chose, I'm going to have to connect that shaded cell to this shaded cell, and it's going to force column 1 to be entirely shaded. Now, what about if it was the other way round, though? And I still think it's going to be a big problem. Because now, if anything here is shaded, any single cell in that section of the grid is shaded, I'm going to have to connect that shadedness to this around the perimeter, and I'm going to at least have the whole of row 1 shaded. Apart from this cell, you may say. But where do I put the 5 in this row? I can't put it in grey because we know I'm not allowed to. And I can't put it on a black dot because a black dot doesn't have... well, if we have to... This cell would have to be 2.5 or 10, and that won't work. So I feel like I might be able to do better than that. But I think what we can say is that the opposite sides to the black dot are, oh, I've done it wrong, are definitely unshaded. And that means this cell is shaded. And okay, hang on. Every dot separates different coloured cells, doesn't it? So look, we can start to... Ooh, I can start to build this in. So now I've got a possibility of a 2x2 there, so I'm going to definitely avoid that. And that's going to go... That's going to... yeah, okay. Now I'm going to look at this white dot, because I know that that's got opposite colours on either side of the dot. What would happen if the bottom cell was unshaded? What would the top cell be? shaded. And that's a checkerboard. Battenberg. We're not doing Battenberging today. So this must be green. This must be grey. This must be, oh, that was going to be green anyway to avoid a 2x2 there. This must be grey to avoid a 2x2 here. Avoided Battenberg or a checkerboard there, so that's got to be grey. And this is really clever. Not of me, I have to add. I think I've been a bit slow to understand the implications of the rule. But I really like what flows from that. Now, so I know that I know those two are the same colour. That's lovely, isn't it? That's absolutely lovely. Look at this series of digits. We know that they oscillate across the dots in terms of their shaded characteristic. So what I want to think about is whether these two, so that if this is unshaded, this will be shaded and this will be unshaded, so we'll be in this world. Is this possible? No. Because now this is shaded by dot logic, and this is shaded by 2x2 logic, and I've made a Battenberg. Naughty Simon. We're not doing that. So those two have to be shaded. That has to be unshaded. That has to be shaded to avoid the Battenberg. Now, what about if that was unshaded and that was shaded? Then this would be unshaded. So one of these has got to be unshaded. Otherwise, that would be a 2x2 of shaded. I tried to see if that does something up here. If that's shaded, that's definitely unshaded. If that's unshaded, yeah, that works. I mean, I don't know if it does anything, but whichever way round the black dot goes, this digit cannot be shaded. I don't think. Because if it's shaded, let's have a look at it. If it's shaded and this is shaded, I'm meant to connect them up, and I'd have a 2x2, which is definitely impossible. And if this is unshaded, on the other hand, and this is shaded, it's the wrong way round. This unshaded is meant to connect to that unshaded in the perimeter. I've got too many changes of colour in the perimeter, because there's going to be there's a change here, and there's going to be a change there, and I can't have more, and yet I would have more. So that cell is definitely unshaded. Don't think we can do the same there, because we're not going to have the 2x2 opportunity. Now, yeah, okay, so now we can do a different trick, can't we? Yeah, this is an interesting idea. So, I'm wondering whether what we're meant to do is to think about bishop's moves. You may wonder what I'm talking about, but I want to let's have a look at this cell in row 8, column 8. Now, that we know that's part of the shaded part of the grid, and therefore it has the property that it's either below 5 or above 5. Let's just flag it red. The point is that because the entire grey area is made up of an orthogonal connection, let's say this was below 5. What would this be? Then that would definitely be above 5, wouldn't it? This would definitely be below 5 again, and it's on the same bishop's colour. And because you're always going to take an even number of steps to arrive at digits on the same bishop's colour, the entire grey area is going to be dividable into, in this example, red and purple. So red, this is going to be red. This is always going to be red. Because to get from here to here, it doesn't matter how you're going to flow round the grey area. You're always going to take an even number of steps to arrive in this position. And therefore, that's always going to be of the same polarity as this one vis-a-vis 5. It's always going to, red is always either going to be all above 5 or all below 5. So we could do all, those are all purple. That's definitely, and that's forced because of the orthogonal connectivity of the entire grey region. If we'd been allowed to go diagonally, you couldn't have made this argument, because obviously to go from here to here, if you could go diagonally, you'd only need one step to do it. So these wouldn't necessarily be of the same polarity. They would in fact be of opposite polarity. But if to get to this cell you've got to go there or there, clearly you are taking an even number of steps. So what I'm seeing there is that in row 8 I've got 4 of something. So the reds are either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 6, 7, 8, 9. But none of them are, no, none of them are on a particular, I mean that one's on a dot, but I don't think that's going to do anything. We've got, we have got different colours on black dots though now. So if we think of the panoply of digits you can put on black dots in Sudoku, it isn't everything. You can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 8 on black dots. 5, 7 and 9 won't work ever, because if you're looking for a digit that's either half 5, 7 or 9, well, they're not integers, or double 5, 7 and 9, well, they're 2-digit numbers, so they can't go in Sudoku. So we're always looking at digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 8. So whichever colour, purple or red, is higher than 5, you're going to have to put a 6 or an 8. So let's think about that. So if purple, so we've got those two, would be, if purple was high, these 2 digits, well, that would have to be from 6 and 8. This one would have to be 8 actually. Why do I say that? Well, if this was 6, we didn't talk about this, but 6 is a very difficult number from a German Whispers perspective because it only has one partner. You're looking for a digit that's at least 5 different from 6. Well, if you go up, you get to double-digit numbers. If you go down, you only have the digit 1 available. And if you were to put the digit 6 here, you'd have 1 on both sides. So that won't work. So this would have to be 8, and these would both be low. 8, this would be 4. Oh, Simon, you silly man. Right, that's been available. Right, this is perfect. Okay, I could have instantly seen that this is not going to work because this being, well, you've got 2 purple digits on either side of this dot sequence. How on earth are we achieving that? You can't do it, because if this is higher than 5, this also needs to be higher than 5. But that is not going to work, because you're going to have to sort of go through 5 to do this. So if this is 6 or 8, this will be 3 or 4. Oh, whoopsie. 3 or 4. This now needs to be higher than 5, yet consecutive with 3 or 4. Well, there's no such digit. It won't work. So this is beautiful, because now we know purple, oh, I won't do it, but purple is definitely 1, 2, 3, 4. Red is now high digit, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a great puzzle, this, isn't it? It's got a lot of depth to it. Oh, you can't put 7 and 9 on black dots, so this digit is 3 or 4 now. This digit is consecutive with 6 or 8, so it's an odd digit that's 5, 7 or 9. This digit is low. It's nearly good, but not quite. Oh, this can't be 6. The same reason that one couldn't be 6. If that's 6, it's got to be surrounded by double 1. So is that our first digit? Our first digit is an 8 into this cell, which can't be next to 4, because 4 and 8 are only 4 apart. This can't be an 8 now. This is a 4 across the black dot. This is not a 5 now. Now, this is not a 4. So this black dot, this digit here, well, we've got to find some way to make this work. Yeah, this has to be quite a low number, I think. It's black dottable. So we're thinking about the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, but it's got to be consecutive with 1, 2, 3, or 4. So it has to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. And that gives me a quadruple in the row. Let me just think about this. So I could probably do better in this row. I've got to put a 6 into one of these cells. Oh no. Well, this one can't be 6. Because if this was 6, it would be surrounded on both sides by 1, and we've already thought about why that won't work. And if this is 7, that won't work either, actually, because that would make these two a 1-2 pair, and whichever one was 1 would have a 2 in this position. So these can't be a 1-2 pair. So this can't be a 7. So that is 8 or 9, which puts a lot less pressure on the dots, frankly. Oh, no, I know how to do this. If we look at this sequence, where we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple in row 7, the 4 of which is on the dot, is on the white dot. So we need a 4 here, along with a digit that's consecutive with 4. Well, that's 3. I can do that. Sorry, I was me being a bit dense. So now I get a 1-2 pair over there. This is 3 or 4, so this must be 4. Because if this is 3, we need a 6 across the black dot from it. So that's 4, that's 3, that's 2 now, actually. 2 can't be next to 6, so the 6 is in one of these. So one of those is a 1, but we already knew that if I'd have focused on it. Now, so this digit is, yeah, this is a really cool point. This cell, I know its colour. I know its shading. I know its shading by considering whether it could be shaded. If it's shaded by purple-red logic, if this is shaded, what colour is it? It's purple, which is a 1, 2, 3, or 4 digit. Well, it can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4 digit. They've all gone from row 7. So that is unshaded, which means this is shaded. And now that's on the same colour as red. So this is a high digit, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these digits are, well, yeah, I was going to say they've all got to be high. That's not actually strictly true. That one can't be 5, because this can't be 6. But yeah, it looks like these are trying to be a 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple, doesn't it? But I think this one could be 5 if that's 6. Possibly. Okay. Just a different point then. We do have to let's think about a white dot. What is the nature of a white dot? It's a consecutive pair of digits. Well, a consecutive pair of digits is definitely going to include an odd number and definitely going to include an even number. That is the nature of a consecutive pair of digits. Well, what are the even digits on these pairs? They've got to be 6 and 8, don't they? They're the only even digits in the option. So one of these is a 6, and one of these dots has a 6 on it. One of them has an 8 on it. So the black dot up here doesn't have 6 or 8 on it. So it must be from 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's got to be consecutive with 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So this is definitely odd because it can't be 2 or 4. So this is now definitely even. and therefore this can't be 3. I'm going to say there must be a 2 on this dot. Is that true? Yeah, it can't be a 1-4 pair. They're not in a doubling relationship. So yeah, and now we can use I love this. This is just a superb setting. We're so lucky to have these setters who set these puzzles for us. I mean, look at this now. We are told in the instructions that one of these is shaded. Well, what we now know, because both of these are low, we can work out which one it's going to have to be this one. Because if we tried to shade that one, that would be in the red shading, which would make it a high digit by shading, but it's a low number. So this is the way it's going to work. That's grey, that's purple. This is unshaded, which means that is shaded, which means it can't be 5 then, because it's shaded. So that's 1 or 3, 2 or 4. Avoid a Battenberg, so that's shaded, which means that one is a high digit. So this one's 6, 7, 8 or 9. These two are low. I can probably do better than that. I know those two are the same shading. So if they were shaded, that would also be shaded to avoid a Battenberg. I might be okay. I'm not sure. Okay, I might be about to get stuck, I fear. Hang on, let me just try and find something of merit. It's really weird that I don't know. I mean, I probably do. You have all probably been shouting at me about which way round this goes. If that's unshaded, all of those are unshaded. If that's unshaded, all of those are unshaded. And then this would be shaded. And this would be a low digit. It doesn't look terribly problematic, does it? Oh dear, I'm struggling a bit here. Oh, okay. Let's think about the even digit then on this domino, because it's not 2 or 4, is it? So it's going to be 6 or 8. Yeah, I think it's to do with this string. So this has got 6 or 8 on it. So if I fully pencil mark it, which is an outrageous thing to do, but let's just do that just for the sake of good order. Because this dot must have an even digit on it that's not 2 or 4. It's got 6 or 8 on it, along with an odd digit that's relatively high, but could be as low as 5, possibly. But look at this cell. This is consecutive now, with a great big old digit. But oh no, it could be high. Oh, sorry. In my mind, I've been thinking this is all the high digits. It's just not, is it? They are not a quadruple, Simon. You silly man. So this digit is actually 4, 5, 6. I mean, that's not a Simon pencil mark. But I'm so distressed about. Oh, but hang on. Right, hang on. Now we can use our shading trick, can't we? One of these has to... Oh, this is brilliant. Scruffamudda, you are very clever. Yeah, it's the same point, but as this one. One of these has to be shaded. And therefore, because 5 can't go in a shaded digit, we are going to pick whichever one of these could have the red shading, which is the high digits, which is that one. So that's definitely, that's definitely shaded, which means this is shaded. It means this is unshaded. This unshaded has to get out of this cul-de-sac it's been put into. So that's unshaded. We mustn't have a Battenberg here. So that is shaded and purplified. So this is a low digit. This is quite interesting, actually. That's got to be odd. Because it's not 2 from our pencil marks. And if it was 4, it would have 9 on both sides of it. 4 has the same quality as 6. 6 only has one neighbour on whispers, one digit that's 5 different from it, and that's the digit 1. 4 only has the digit 9. So if we were to put 4 here, both of those would be 9. So this is low. Well, it's low and it's odd. Oh, that we've got to avoid a 2 by 2 there. So that's got to be unshaded. This can't be 5 because it's got the quality of shadedness. So this is a high digit. So that's, and this can't be 6 because it would be surrounded by double 1. Right. This is great. This being high does complete a quadruple, but it's not this one that I thought it was going to be. That one's high. That one's 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 7, 8, 9. That's 6, 7, 8, 9. So this can't be 6, 7, 8, or 9. That's got to be 5, which means this is 6. It means that 8 is the odd or the even digit on this white dot, which means this is not 8, which means this is even now by consecutiveness. This is odd by consecutiveness. And okay, and in the column now, we know this digit is 1, 3, or 4, I think. Oh, that's annoying. Because that means, yeah, that means it could be shaded. Because if it was shaded, it would have purple shading and it would have the correct quantum to make that a possibility. Oh dear. Okay, so maybe row 8 actually, because I've got this 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple. 1s, 3s and 5s into the gap in row 8. This certainly can't be a 3. That one can't be a 5. Oh, and that one doesn't seem to mind what it is. What about row 7 then? 6, 7, 9. We can probably... Oh no, that could be... These are the... They're in the right positions, all of these, to have potentially be shaded. Golly, okay, so that's not very good, is it? No, Simon, it's not. Well, what do we do then? I feel like I've nearly used up all of these. This is it the even digit? Oh, it can't be the even digit on that. I mean, I only know it doesn't have 2 on it. If it had 4 on it, this would be a 2. That would be a 1. That would be a 3. Okay, so that can't have 4 on it, but that's very complicated. Is it that? Oh, that black dot doesn't have 6 on it. Okay. But it could be a 4-8 pair, couldn't it? If it wasn't a 4-8 pair, then it would be made up of 1, 2, and 4, and I could get the shading using the trick that we had before. Which way round would that go? This would be shaded. That would be a huge deduction, because if that was shaded, you could see both of those instantly become unshaded by checkerboarding logic, or 2 by 2 logic. But if it has got 8 on it, and that was the shaded digit, that would have to go here. And then this would have to be a 6, this would have to be a 7, this would have to be a 1, that would have to be a 2 or a 4. Okay, so I don't know if we can do better than that. Oh, here's a very obvious point. I've got a 6 in shadings there, so that's got to be a 1. So this isn't a 1. Okay. So, oh, well, that's a bit better. Right, so this is giving me a 3 at the top of the grid, because I've got 1, 2 and 4 all looking at this cell. That doesn't tell us, still doesn't tell us whether it's shaded or not. But what it is telling me is I've got to be a bit careful with these connections in the shaded areas. It's not really enough just to notice that they're, that they're oscillating polarity. I'm going to have to keep an eye on the exact quantum. So if that, yeah, there we go. That can't be 6 because this digit can't be 1. That's not brilliant. I mean, but it's true, but it's not brilliant. But okay, let's come back to this white dot. I could prove in my brain using some particularly obtuse logic earlier that this didn't have 2 or 4 on it. Now it's very clear it doesn't have 2 or 4 on it, so I feel less embarrassed about doing that. And now, okay, and now we can use the trick. Because one of those has to be shaded, which won't have a 5 on it, so we need it to be a red digit, which is that one. So that's grey and it's red. Oh, wait. Well, that's doing something here. Let me just think about this. This now can't be shaded because it would have the wrong colour. And yeah, what would happen now if this was shaded and this was unshaded? Now going around the perimeter, you've got too many changes of colour, so it's got to be the other way round. So that's got to be green, that's got to be grey. Connect the greys up, because we must do in the perimeter. Correct the greens up, because we must do. I don't know how far this grey goes, but this is great. Now look, these two have to be grey to avoid 2x2s. They're both on the same bishop's colour, so they're both low digits. That's got to be green to avoid a 2x2. There's probably some way we know the colouring of this, but look, this is now purple, that's purple, this is red. We've got the full gamut of purples in the column, so one of these has to be a 4 next to an, oh, they can all possibly be that. I was going to say one of them has to be a 4 next to a 9, but it looks like they all sort of want to be. That can't be a 1. Right, so this is okay. So the 1 in column 2 is in one of those two cells, which means this digit is a 3. Oh, that doesn't tell us that one. That's rotten. Oh dear. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, what about this? Is a 1, 2 or a 4, so the digit across the black dot from it could be a lot of different things. Okay. This is a 3. That's got to be surrounded by 8 and 9 from a Whisper's perspective. So now I've got a... Oh, I see. Look at column 3. I've got a 7, 8, 9 triple, and that digit therefore is a 6. And that's got to be consecutive with 2 7s actually around it on the funny line. 7 can't be next to a 4. They're not 5 apart. So that's how this line works. This 2 comes out of here, out of here. This 7 comes off the white dot at the bottom, so we've got an 8, 9 pair here. So this digit, whoopsie, 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 is 6. Oh, 6 or 7 can go next to 1 or 2. That's annoying. Now, we have actually nearly, if you look at the grid, we've only got this black dot now to sort of figure out, haven't we, in terms of shading. It's not 3, 6, it's not 1, 2. So it's either 2, 4 or 4, 8. Does it have to have 4 on it? I think it does. So there's a 4 on there. And the 4, the 4 could be correct though, if it was here. And the 8 could be correct if it was here, as in shadable. Oh dear. All right, so I'm sure this does something, but I'm not sure what that something is. I know 3 lives in one of those cells. That doesn't feel like it's enough to be worth investigation. 8, 9, oh, that digit. Hang on. Okay, there's quite a lot of Sudoku stuff going on in box 8. We've got 5, a 6, 7 pair, and 8, 9 pairs. So the other digits are from 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 4 of which is definitely in this domino. Oh, it doesn't do anything. Oh, that's a shame. At least I don't think it does. Oh, this digit can't be 5 or 6 now. So there's definitely an 8. Oh, that could matter actually. There's definitely an 8 on this white dot at the top, as it's even digit. So that's taking 8 out of this cell now. Oh, bother. That still doesn't make this any clearer. No, I really don't think it does. Okay, so we can't do that. We're going to have to come up with something different. Is it Sudoku? It'll probably be Sudoku. That's all. Oh, actually, hang on. Let's just. This can't be a 1, because that would make this a 2. And 2 has already appeared. So this is 3 or 4. And this is 3, 4, or 5. Which is potentially interesting. So if this is 2, this would be... Oh no, I'm wrong. I was going to say, that would be 4 actually. So it would go 1, 2, 3. Oh, hang on. I think there might be a problem with this being a 2. I'm just noticing that this cell is a 1 or a 2. So if this is a 2, this would have to be a 3. That would be a 4. Oh, and this could be a 1, so it would go 1, 2, 3 round the corner. Maybe that's all right. Maybe that's all right. I'm not sure. I can't see immediately why it breaks, but it feels like it's under pressure without breaking. What about if it was 4 then? Then it's even more flexible. If that's 3, this has to be 6. Oh, that's nearly forced actually, because of where 6 is in row 5. Oh, this little white dot needs an even digit on it. Well, that's a 4. So this is a 1. Now, does that do something? Oh, that's not bad. 1 in box 2 is now in one of 2 places, but I can see that that's resolving this digit. So that's a 2. This is a 1. I don't think that does... Well, I don't think that does help me here, does it? It means this isn't a 1, I suppose. This is a 2, this is a 3, this is a 1. Yeah, that's the world we're living in, I think. Oh, but I tell you what, 2 can't go next to 6 on the Whisper. They're too close to one another. So the 6 in the bottom row is now here. And that's very annoying. That's totally fine, and it's not putting any pressure on anything. If this extended, if this was shaded, this would be an 8 or a 9. But again, that looks possible. Ooh, where are 6 and 7 in column 2? Gosh, the weather is so horrible. I think they've got to go in those cells, look. Now, does that do something? That's not... there's an 8-9 pair I hadn't spotted in this column. So where do I put 5? 5 and 1 in column 3 are a pair. And so 1 and 5 are a pair in box 7, look. So this corner digit is a 6, 7, 8 or 9. And that is about as useful as a chocolate teapot by the looks of things. Okay. Oh, that's rotten, isn't it? Okay, so we've got a 6, 7 pair here. We need 5, 8, 9 in this column. So this is 5, 8, 9. These 3 cells. Oh, I see. Okay, that is doing something. Because in column 2 now, this 5, 8, 9 triple, the 5 in that triple is in one of those 2 cells. So that gets me this digit. That's a 1. So this is a 5. This is a 1. So this is a 3. Okay, so 1, 3. This has become a 5. So this is now, we've got a 3, 4 pair in row 3. Oh, right, there's a 4 by Sudoku on this black dot. And it can't be 4, 8 because the 8's gone from box 1 already. So this is a 2, 4 pair. Which means these digits are 5, 6, 7. I've got a horrible feeling this isn't doing anything useful at all. I'm not sure it is. I really am not sure it is. Sorry if you've all seen something good here. Is it something to do with the shading? I've got an 8, 9 pair in row 1. Can I join that up? Can that be shaded? That would be... Oh, this would be an 8, 9 pair. That would probably have to be a... Oh, look, yeah, there's something. This is a 7. It can't go next to a 4 on the whispery line. So that's a 4 in the corner. This is a 2. So this is not a 2. Okay, now I've got a 3, 4 pair in column 8. And this digit has to be consecutive with 3 or 4, but not 3 or 4 itself. So that's 2 or 5. And this digit is either 6 or 8. That's all it can be. It can't be 2 because of this digit here. Oh, nearly 7 in box 6 is restricted. One of these has to be a 4, and it's going to have to be next to 9 on the whispers thing that's going to attach it to the rest of the other greys. So that sort of feels like it could matter. But where's the break here? Where is the cunning bit of logic that's going to help me? Here's a point that's quite nice. This 6 is, you can see it's cul-de-saced because of its nature. It's not allowed, well, it's only allowed to touch 1 if it's next to a shaded cell. So this can't possibly be shaded because it would be a 1. And we've already got a 1 in box 5. So that's unshaded. And what I can see that's doing is it's giving me the opportunity to avoid a checkerboard. So that is also... aha! Gotcha. Right, now look at this digit. I don't know when that became a 3, but that's got to be unshaded because it's now next to 7, and 3 and 7 are not sufficiently far apart. Oh, no. Okay, so now this little U pentomino of shadedness is not connected to the rest of its friends, so it's going to have to come through there. That means this digit is a 3 or a 4. in order to be of the correct bishop's colouring. This is a high digit, but is 8 or 9. Whoops, 8 or 9, Simon, be careful. Oh, there's a 4 on the black dot, though, so this is 3. This is 4. This is 3. This is 4. This is 8 by black dot logic. This is 5 by magic. Not really magic, but more Sudoku. This is a 5 in the middle of the grid. As so often in variant Sudoku, we find a 5 in the centre. So in this box, what have we not put in? Well, 2 has to go in somewhere, but could it be here, or does it have to be there? I don't know. Oh, I've got an 8-9 pair in row 6, so that's become a 7. That was weird. When I put that 7 in, it was like the whole row sort of shifted a little bit. 2, 3 and 4. This is a naked single. That's a 2 in the row. It sees 3 and 4 in the box. So this is a 3 or a 4, and this is a 3 or a 4, and it can't be a 4. So that's a 3. That's a 4. This box needs a 3 in it. That's going to have to go there. So this is an 8 or a 9, which is a 9 because of this 8 at the end of the row. So that's 8, that's 9, that's 8, that's 9. So that's 9 by Sudoku. These digits are 2, 3, 7, and I can put the 3 in. No 3s in the corner today. Some of you will be relieved. This is now a 6, that's a 7, that's an 8. I was trying to type 9, that was lucky. I then realised that wouldn't work. So 7, this is 5 or 6, this is an 8-9 pair. This 2 is useful, so that's going to be 4, that's going to be 8, that's going to be 9. So this is 4, this is 1. This digit is 6 or 7 by Sudoku, and I've lost track completely. Except 5 can definitely not be a shaded cell ever. 4 can't be shaded next to 7, they are not sufficiently far apart. And in this row, it's 6 I haven't put in. So that's going to be an unshaded 6, because if it was shaded, it would be too close to 3 and 4. So this 4 has to get out, so it's going out above itself into, you've guessed it, a 9. That's the only way that will work. So these 2 digits are a 1-2 pair, which apparently isn't resolved. And both of, yeah, see, that could well be. Oh, so could this. These could both be shaded and they would work from their colouring perspective. What about that one? Oh, in fact, look, this little Tetris piece here, that's not connected to the rest of the shaded world. So let's connect that up. Okay, I'm not sure what to do now, but let's carry on perhaps with Sudoku, shall we? So we need 2, 7 and 8 in this column. And that's not 7, and that's not 2. So we can see straight away this has to be unshaded, because it would be the incorrect polarity. But this could be shaded if it was 8. Oh, and in fact, let's avoid a 2 by 2. So that is shaded, and that's going to give us this digit. That's got to be an 8. And that's going to do column 8, serendipitously enough. So 7 goes here, 2 goes here. This does the 8, the 9. The 9, the 8. The 9 by Sudoku, which could be in the correct colour. This column needs 1s, 2s and 5s. So the 5 we know will be useless to us, but I don't know where it goes. And in this row it's 5, 6s and 7, so that's a 5 or a 6. So the 7 in row 3 goes here. Now, oh, that's bad news, isn't it? Well, although it's not actually, because whether this, hang on, if that's 7, that's 6, I've just noticed. But although that could be shaded, it is not how this shaded section on the left of the grid is going to get out and touch the right-hand shaded pieces. Oh, in fact, look, this H in the grid here, That's not connected to anything, so we are definitely shading this digit. And now, how does this shading continue? It doesn't go there because that's not got the correct size. So it's going to have to go there, and that's going to be low. And now avoid it. Oh yeah, we are going to have to avoid a 2 by 2. So that's become, although it would have the correct color, it's not the correct shading. This has the wrong shading. So this has to be definitely shaded, definitely purple, definitely not 5, which places 5 in the column. And in the row we haven't put 1s and 6s. That's extraordinary. It's extraordinary that isn't resolved, but apparently it's not. That's definitely green. Again, we still haven't connected this. We can't have a checkerboard there, so that has become unshaded. So the shading is very nearly finished. That's got to be shaded, and we haven't connected up, so that has to be shaded. And it's purple, so it's 1. That's its nature. So that's 1. That's 6. This needs to be a high digit, which is. Oh, is that okay? That might. Yeah, that is, isn't it? That's lovely. That's a 5-6 deadly pattern in these 2 rows. Oh dear, this is bad though, isn't it? Oh, the 6 is going to do it. It's going to do the 1-2. This is lovely. Look at this finish. Watch this finish. This is so beautiful. Right. So, in theory, you can see we've got this 1-2 deadly pattern here that doesn't look like it's resolved by anything. And we've got this 5-6 deadly pattern here. But this can't be 5 because 5's never shaded. So that becomes 6. That resolves the 6-5 deadly pattern. But this being 6 must be next to 1, which resolves the 1-2 deadly pattern. Well, that cannot be. That must be correct, because, I mean, you don't get finishes like that out of the blue. Okay, let me just check. Yes, it's correct. Absolutely lovely. How long did it take me? Gosh, it's taken me a little while, that one. 1:12, so perhaps not the swiftest solve in history, but hopefully you can forgive me. I was going to say what I'm going to do now is just outline. I never really used the red outline, did I? Which was probably a bit remiss of me, but let's try and put that right now. Whoops. By outlining the area of shadedness such that it looks a bit prettier, or perhaps a bit clearer. It's a brilliant puzzle, I think, this. Really original. And yet felt like it's almost a rule that could have been done before, but I've never seen it before. Okay, we're nearly there, I think. And now there'll be some little piece of this that I haven't actually put the shading into, and I'll feel bad, but I think that's how it's meant to look. Look, we could get rid of the, I was going to get rid of the unshadedness. So that's very pretty. Brilliant. Scruffamudda, brilliant. Loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on with the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.